Alright, I haven't done this in a while. Not sure if it's working yet. It says it's streaming, so I'm not sure. Is this actually live? Oh, it's live. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Alright, hello. How's the volume doing? Okay, the microphone's probably a bit too loud. Okay, let's turn the sound down. Okay. We're playing, 1.164 this time because, you can count the plateaus easier in this one, you know? Alright. Close that. Sorry, I'm a little unprepared. I haven't done this in like 2 months because things were crazy. Yeah, now things are chill. And, like, I'm really more so fighting my body than anything. The good news is I got approved for Medicaid, so I'll be able to figure out maybe what the fuck's going on. So, alright. Give me 1 second. Why does he keep moving his mouth like that? Ugh. Is he broken? Okay, I think he was broken for a second. Why does he keep going like that? What? Okay. Alright, now he's working. That was really funny. He was just like moving his mouth like, oh, I will know I made it if this stupid fucking cartoon character shows up in like one of those like grungy freaking like projects that Bifo still works on. Just like appears in the advertising like my stupid fucking YouTube channel. That's how I know I made it. Why does he keep talking? Oh my god, I gotta configure this. I think like my volume settings have changed. So now he just thinks I'm talking all the time. Okay. Alright, let's see this. I think there we go. There. That's a lot better. Alright, let's start Minecrafting. Let's create a new world. Oh. Oh, hey, look at that. Hey. Yeah. Alright. While this is loading, I'm gonna load the YouTube thing on my phone so I can read what people are saying, because I don't actually have that. I don't have 2 screens. I don't like multiple screens. All right. I don't want that shit in my life. I didn't even do that when I was like working. Like I didn't have multiple screens while I was working. I didn't like that. All right. Let's get the viewers' comments going. Close. I need to make more cartoon Guataris. You could actually, I have on my merch store little stickers you can buy, actually, Redbubble stickers. I'm gonna move the mic to be a little bit more comfortable. Alright, let's find some trees. I know a thing or two about tree. Oh my god. If I ever take a sponsorship from BetterHelp, you know that I've lost my battle with schizophrenia. That's all I'm gonna say about that. That's when I've lost myself, and I've just become like another voice in the ether. When I'm like, hi there everybody, and this is Punish Felix, and today I got a really great sponsorship for you guys. I'm sure you heard this one before. BetterHelp. I wanted to show everybody. Don't just show me the top messages. I want to see everyone. Hell yeah. Alright. Okay. Oh my god, there's a lot of cows on the hills. I actually remember playing Minecraft back when the cows used to still jump all the time for no reason. That was a thing that happened. I don't know what even caused that bug. It was probably like some like AI edge case or something. Yeah, I said the word. I said AI. That's how you know it's the future. What the fuck? Alright, I know what I'm supposed to build. Alright. Okay. Hell yeah. I remember how to play this game. Alright, I'm an expert. Can you imagine if Psychonauts was sponsored by BetterHelp? I can't think of a worse future. Well, besides the one we're currently living, but, like, worse than this one. Oh, man. Uh-oh, there's lava nearby. Very true, Molasses, very true. Although, probably better than anything I could cook up. Like, I'm good with, like, user interfaces and stuff, but, like, oh my god, trying to do, like, smart gamer things. Oh my god, there's a reason why I make RPGs. I'm actually, like, really gonna be challenged with developing certain parts of, like, how the map generation is gonna work in the game. It's not gonna be generated, but, like, basically how it will work is that we'll, like, draw, like, the collisions and say, this is gonna be buildings, right? And it will render buildings based on, like, a seed, but I have to, like, actually look into how the hell I'm gonna implement that, because I'm a tiny brain. I've been mostly just tired. It's kind of annoying, because, like, I'm not active enough to... What the hell is that? That is like a Minecraft moment. I've never seen anything like that in Minecraft. That's bizarre. Oh my gosh. This game is something. Alright, let me make a sword. A sword. Alright. You gotta be careful with your memes. So I talked about this in the Discord server, but somebody in Onion's Discord server pointed out that Chaosophy 1995 is a slightly different publication than Chaosophy that was published in the 2000s. And Chaosophy 1995 has an essay that only appears in it where I can only describe it as, like, Guattari's manic mantra. It's fucking awesome. It's about God. So you know it's good. Yeah, that is a flying plateau. Yeah, you know what? It's a line of flight. It's just going really, really slow. We're watching it, like, in slow motion. It's like those, like, special machines that, like, are able to photograph photons. It's like what we're watching right there. Is the game gonna be 2D or 3D? The base game is gonna be 3D, but it's gonna be kind of like, it's really inspired by, like, games from the early 2000s. Like, the look I'm looking for is something like early 2000s PlayStation 2, right? Maybe like GameCube kind of thing. Basically, and the reason why is because, one, that's just the easiest on my eyes, as well as, like, giving the level of detail that I want to have. Like, PlayStation 1, like, games can be kind of overwhelming, actually, with all the, like, textures, and, like, yeah. But, like, PlayStation 2, I think, like, kind of consolidates that, because it just... Excuse me. The texture depth is just better, and so it doesn't look like a pixelated mess. But that's not to say that all PlayStation 1 games look like pixelated messes, but, like, it requires a kind of direction and design that I don't really want to go for. Yeah. Also, yeah, you're right. Like 2000, early 2000s PlayStation kind of stuff. That is kind of like my era. But I do want to go for like a 60 frames per second running thing. But yeah. And basically, it has you basically navigating different parts of Boston. That's basically what the overworld is like. You're like navigating Boston, and like, oh shit, there's a skeleton. And basically, what you do is you're like trying to make a film, but then you like things get really schizo, and you just kind of go with the flow of like what's happening every step of the way. It just gets crazier and crazier. What is the plateau counter? It's literal. We're counting the literal plateau biomes that we encounter. So like the joke is that we're reading 1,000 plateaus in Minecraft by going and literally going to 1,000 plateaus. It's like a stream idea I came up with like a few years ago. But one thing I want to do in the game is, so I've been thinking about, so I'm building this, so the prototype I'm building is not the game itself. It's a demonstration of a walking simulator. So basically the overworld, essentially like the not the overworld itself, but kind of like a very basic demonstration of the overworld capabilities. You just walk back and forth and talk to things. It's not like a very sophisticated demo. But what makes it cool, and I'm gonna start developing this tonight, hopefully, if I'm not too tired, is I'm gonna be taking this 3D interface and I'm gonna be turning it into a text-based one. Yeah, like, you know, those old text-based games from the 80s? And the reason why I'm doing a text-based interface is I want to demonstrate that this engine can change not just the inputs and outputs, but it can also change how often the game is processed. So, like, for example, processing can just stop until the next command is sent, and then the command just processes the game all at once. Oh, you mean LSD? You had LSD Dream Simulator? That's kind of crazy. That's kind of isn't that kind of like a rare game and was pretty obscure until the internet got a hold of it. I can't play that game. That game will actually make me sick, but it is very cool. I will give it credit where credit is due. It's just I can't play it. That's like the sad thing too. Like modern games I can't play and they look like ass. And they're developed by Nazis. Or fucking, like, Israelis, apparently. I still can't get over when I found that out. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? We really... I don't want to go into that right now, but... Molasses, you and we're gonna like completely just like, this is mania posting, but like we're gonna like completely revolutionize the topology of how games are developed. Can I just say this? And Molasses knows I'm right about this. Game developers need to know and understand that they suck at programming. Like, they need to understand this. They need to come to terms with it. They need to look in the mirror and they need to point at the mirror and say, I am a bad programmer, and I'm okay with that. I can come to terms with that. Oh, I forgot to make a bed. I'm a huge dummy. I don't even have a boat. I'm so dumb. But yeah, no, game devs are like legit some of the worst developers, and I don't know what it is. I think it's just because there's like, I don't know, I think it's like the way that they've developed the UIs over time just really encourages really bad design. But it's gotten to a point where we have to say something, like game developers. please learn a little computer science. Yeah, they stopped making good games as soon as, like, they could just, like, throw a bunch of assets together. Like, I understand that gamers have, like, crap critiques, but sometimes they are right about things, and I do think, like, the asset flipping, especially when you could, like, build, like, all these components. Oh, I can just kill these sheep. What am I doing? Oh, maybe not. I gotta... Ooh. Gotta use my brain for this one. But I don't want to eat all my meat. There we go. Alright. Okay. Kill this one. Got him. Alright, I'm gonna go after the white ones. Yeah, when gamers stopped, like, rolling their own crap, or game developers stopped rolling their own crap, and they just kept getting everything for the asset stores, and then, like, developing just the core logic. Which is funny, because that's what a lot of people do. Like, that's, like, 90% of web dev. Like, and if you don't believe me, 10 years ago, like, half of the internet went offline because some guy on NPM got really angry about some licensing crap. And so he just took down his shit from NPM, which included a package that, like, a bazillion people used. And, like, it was literally only, like, 14 lines of code, but that didn't matter. Oh, shit! Pirate software! Oh, my God! Pirate software! Oh, my God. Should I do a stream where I just, like, look over his shit, like, as a professional? You know, I used to be a professional software developer. Like, I wasn't I don't count myself as, like, an amazing developer. I have, like, weird ideas, but, like, as a developer, I'm pretty mid. But, like, I kind of want to talk about him someday. Like, I don't have any thoughts, like, on the top of my head, but now that you brought him up. Oh, I have no problem with people using assets in their game. That's not really what I'm criticizing. Like, people can use assets. I use assets. Are you kidding me? Everybody uses assets. Like, nobody can make everything. Like, I think, like, people don't understand, like, making a game has, like, just requires a astronomical amount of work. And I'm speaking as somebody who actually could do the whole pipeline themselves and has tried multiple times. And, I just could not do the work because it was just so much work. Like, I could do every part of it. I could write the music, I could do the programming, I could do the writing, I could do the drawing, but it's just so much work. Even when you're just doing one part of that, it's still a shit ton of work. Get the hell out of here! Oh, he's still shooting at me. What a fucker. I've always hated skeletons. They should go back in the closet. They're not allowed at my Pride parade. There's nothing to be proud about being a skeleton. Get back into the body, you silly piece of shit. Ah. I probably am an expert, honestly, after hearing his career. Like, he's literally a Nepo baby. He's like Jacqueline Miller. Yeah, I went there. Only psychoanalysis nerds will get that one. People who are not into psychoanalysis who watch my channel, you should be aware that psychoanalysis is fucking hilarious. And, like, I'm not saying, like, it's not funny because, like, ooh, he talks about the butt with the anal stage. Like, no, like, it's genuinely hilarious because, like, you have shit like how in Anti-Oedipus, like, Deleuze and Guattari are just like, look, Melody, alright? Maybe it's not about dick, alright? Like, come on. Yeah, yeah. So, regarding what Molasses is saying about my game, so basically, like, the main gimmick of my RPG is that you have, like, a camera that you are using to film the movie, right? And like you film the battles as like B footage or whatever, B-roll. And like what's cool about it is that you can install these different machines that change like how you interact with the battle, right? And they act like cartridges, like a NES cartridge. So like one of the gags I'm gonna have pretty early on in the game, and I don't mind spoiling this, but it's pretty funny. But basically one of the gags is that you encounter the Cheetah Men. And I don't know if anybody here remembers what the Cheetah Men are, but the Cheetah Men are these like characters from like a really, really crappy bootleg NES game from the 80s, where it was one of those like 1 in 40 carts, but it was called Action 52, and Cheetah Men was the last game on there, and it was dog shit like everything else. But it was notorious because it had a crazy cool sounding theme song that was remixed by like every Japanese EDM artist at the time. This was like 15 years ago, like literally half my life ago. Isn't that scary to think about? Like that was literally half my life ago. But yeah, no, there's some pretty sick tracks that they had that remix this Cheetah Men song. So I wanted to make a joke about it, and basically the joke is that when you're inputting your commands, you have to play their shitty games. Like you have to play the shitty 1 in 40 games or whatever, and the game that gets selected is randomized every time. So like you have to, like, one is like, oh, you gotta play the shitty platformer. Oh, now you gotta play the shitty RPG. Yes, AVGN RPG. that's like when they get, that would be really funny actually if I had a couple of other AVGN references like Little Red Hood and shit. Oh man. But yeah, the enemies are based on memes. And I know that sounds really cringe, but like the plot of the game is about replicators and memes. It's literally about like memes is like what Richard Dawkins talks about, right? So basically over time, like it starts with like memes from like the 2000s, and then it becomes like more and more modern memes, but they're not literally the memes themselves. They're kind of like mutations. So like think of it as like these organisms that have like evolved separately from the memes, if that makes sense. But yeah, like part of the plot is about replicators, and so basically the plot is about how this schizophrenic is trying to make Felix Guattari's film A Love of a Week, right? And he's actually like receiving like schizophrenic messages in televisions from the week after reading the screenplay, and it's telling him to make this movie. So, but he doesn't tell people that. And in the process of like assembling all these people together, he starts to have Guattari appear in his head, right? And it turns out that what is happening is that Felix is like this replicator, but it has no signature, which is like freaking out like the bad guys basically, because they are trying to track every replicator through like a blockchain. So like they have like a record or a ledger of like every single thing that has ever happened in the like the last 10 years or whenever they started doing this, right? But then there's this replicator that they literally cannot find a signature for. They just know that he's there when he's there. And so as a result, he's completely chaotic and unpredictable. The DNA of the soul. Yeah, oh, I'm doing much better now, actually. So, like, I want to be clear. A few people seem a little confused about how things are going on my end. They're actually going way better than they have ever gone in a long time. I got away from my ex. I am not homeless, which was a really big thing that, like, we had no idea, how the hell we were going to get out of that situation. Like, when I made that GoFundMe in July, I genuinely was just like, I need to figure out how to make this work without... I need to figure out how to make this work. Yeah. Oh, right, homelessness. That's what I was talking about. But yeah, so basically, I was just like, I gotta figure out how to make this work, and I've got so much credit card debt from me trying to get out of here that I'm gonna be paying like $90 a month for no reason, and people helped pay me off that and a bunch of other stuff, which was really helpful. And but that wasn't enough to get me out of being homeless. And we just kind of got this place out of a sheer luck of the draw. Like, this is like some place owned by a trust, and they haven't been able to fill the room for like months because it's a tiny studio and they wanted $900 for it. And we were like, well, we'll do it for $700. And they're like, okay. And we paid a couple months up front. But yeah, I don't make money outside of what I earn on YouTube, but my girlfriend does have money, so we are, it's not like we're like unable to get by. But yeah, due to some good luck we were able to take care of our food needs without even needing stamps and stuff like that, and take care of a bunch of other stuff. So we are actually pretty secure right now, which is kind of crazy considering how awful things are. We genuinely were like looking down a fucking barrel of like, what are we gonna fucking do when like we realized like, oh, we're probably not gonna get SNAP this month, which we probably are one of the, I don't know how many other states have managed, but somehow Vermont, out of all the states, I guess it's because there's not like a ton of people here, but like they were able to actually come in clutch and get people benefits. It wasn't the full benefits, but they were able to get about half, which is huge. Like, that's genuinely life-changing currently. A lot of families are depending on that, which is why I'm, like, pressing that so hard right now. Like, people need to understand that that's, like, a real thing that's going on right now. Like, this is not a joke. This is not a game. This is not Twitter crap. This is, like, you know, my neighbor is struggling to feed her family kind of shit, okay? Everybody is struggling, right? This, you know, a lot of these smaller areas have, like, 1 in 4 people who don't have access. So, yeah, because of that, we were able to actually take the stamps that we got from that and end up donating the food that we got from there. And we tried to be as optimal as possible with what we got. But yeah, somebody asked why we didn't donate money directly. Well, there's 2 reasons for that. That was the first reason. The other reason is because I think it's important for people to see the face of people helping each other. You know, I think disalienation is important. You know, that's why I support Food Not Bombs, because they are getting their faces out there. They're not just, you know, oh, we donated $10,000. You know, I was never able to volunteer myself, but I do notice that, like, the same kind of people, you know, go to the feeding stations and stuff, and they get to learn people, and it's a form of community building, and that's what we need more than anything right now, you know? Oh god, it was an anxiety bomb, but things are chill now. Things are so fucking chill. And Vermont is a very chill state. It's a very white state, I'll give it that, but it is very chill. It's not like New Hampshire, where New Hampshire I genuinely do not feel safe. New Hampshire is like no chill. I'm doing alright right now. I mean, if you wanna, I'm not saying you have to, but if you do want to support me, Patreon's probably the easiest way to do that. But obviously I don't require people to do that. I will be, starting funding rounds for my game as I'm developing, like, visible demos. I probably won't have the assets to show outside of, like, conceptual drawings, just because, like, I have limited resources to work with, but I can build the demo and demonstrate, like, okay, all I have to do is replace the assets and it's the game, you know? Like, so. Vermont looks like Belgium? What? I guess. I didn't go to Belgium, so I don't know. Vermont is like, honestly, like mini Quebec, which is fine by me because that's like Canada. That is Canada, or is it? Don't tell anybody that I said it was, or else I might get stabbed in the middle of the night. But yeah, Vermont, I would recommend, but be careful while you're driving. Don't get distracted by the mountains. That actually does happen. Like, you're just like, whoa, mountains, goddamn. Oh, shit! I keep getting paranoid about my car. Mostly it's just been minor electrical issues at this point. But I get a little nervous because, like, I don't know. I've had bad experiences with cars before, but this one seems to be a good one. It's a Toyota. I should be okay. Praying. Why does the auto moderator think that butt stabbed is, like, offensive? Yep, we're Minecrafting tonight. I still haven't found a plateau. We're not in the right temperature region to find a plateau, but that's okay. Some episodes we don't even find a single plateau. Usually I'll just keep playing until I start to get a little nauseous. But yeah. I did not like Boston. I'll just say it right now. Like, it's kind of a meme for me. Not really like a real meme. It's more like me just keeping saying it because it just occupies my trauma. But I truly detest Boston. I feel like anytime that I drive to Boston, that my vehicle is under threat at all times by people who do not know how to operate a vehicle. Which would explain why they have so many electrical vehicles in Boston. You know what's crazy? YouTube has been randomly banning people for, like, the AI is going schizo and just randomly banning people. Like, a really famous and well-known YouTuber that reports on, like, malware recently got banned, and he's been around for 10 years. And he got banned for no reason other than, like, the AI that's, like, reviewing the channels for some reason thought that his channel was somehow associated with some, like, Japanese channel. Boston was a dessert. You're probably thinking Boston cream, like Boston cream donuts. Probably the only thing that's okay to come out of Boston. I actually went past the original Dunkin' Donuts in Quincy. The horror. I can't do it. The horror. I mean, I can see why. Boston's just awful. It stinks too. Actually, I don't know, I've talked about this in the server, but and I don't mind talking about it now because I don't live there anymore, and I will never live in Boston again as far as I live because I fucking hated it. Oh wait, I have a bed now. Oh my god, I don't have to fucking run around at night. I put it in the water. What's your thoughts on Pennsylvania? Philadelphia is a weirdo place. I didn't like Philadelphia, but the rest of Pennsylvania is alright. I haven't been, like, in the places, though. So maybe the people there suck. I haven't been. But, I went to Philadelphia a while ago to go to a concert. It was for Roger Hodgson, if you know who that is. If you know who that is, go tell your dad that you know who Roger Hodgson is. I'm sure he'll be happy Then go tell your grandfather that you know who Roger Hodgson is, and then he'll be happy too. You should write a horror story about being in Quincy. It's a terrifying place. It's truly horrible. Same with anything that is nearby Boston, like Cambridge. Terrifying place. Terrifying place. Dedham? More like, damn, who the fuck lives here? It could be worse, though. It could be Rhode Island. Okay, I haven't actually been to Rhode Island. I just like teasing Rhode Island because it's so tiny. And it's so itty-bitty, and it's like, where is it? I don't see it. If I don't see it, it's not real. But yeah, I don't really have strong feelings on Pennsylvania. I will say that I have ridden greyhounds through the Pennsylvania mountains, and that was gorgeous. Like, just Appalachia in general, just beautiful mystical mountains. Like, yeah, I know that the Rockies are bigger, but the Appalachians are much older and much spookier. They have a lot more ghosts. At least I don't live in the Netherlands. Yeah, I went to the Netherlands. That was enough for me. I don't understand how Americans can say, like, yeah, I want to live in Europe. Like, I went to the Netherlands. I was like, that's enough for me. I feel like I'd be able to, like, I don't know. I don't think I'd like anywhere in Europe, honestly. I've been slowly coming to the terms and realization of like just how shit my fucking like experience with like mental health was in Michigan. Like, I still can't get over the fact that Henry Ford Hospital was like, whoa. You said that this person with an F on their license plate has borderline? Well, we're not gonna check. We're just gonna put it on their record. And we're also gonna make it really hard to take off their record. Even though they literally don't have any symptoms of borderline. I'm serious. If you're one of those men who, like, is just like, all of my exes have borderline. I don't know how to tell you this, but the problem is not who you're dating. The problem is in the house right now, all the time, next to you, inside of you, at all times. That's right, it's the skeleton. We knew we couldn't trust him this whole time. Oh, everything's fucking named after Henry Ford in Detroit. Are you fucking kidding me? Have you ever been to Detroit? He literally bought out, like, all this shit. You know, he bought a whole fucking newspaper to, like, spread anti-Semitic propaganda, right? That's what Elon Musk was trying to do. It's just that Elon Musk is way cringier than Henry Ford, and Henry Ford was already really fucking cringy. But yeah, like, everything in Detroit is named after Henry Ford, basically. That's why it's awesome when you go to Dearborn and you see, like, all those, like, flags in, like, Arabic with, like, pro-Palestine flags and shit. I will say that one of my favorite things about living in Vermont is I have not seen a single person that is pro-Israel. Damn, dissing on Detroit. Detroit's actually a lot worse now that Amazon and Google are all over fucking downtown, but as soon as the economy, like, that they're making up blows up in their faces, they're just gonna run away. So no, it was the other way around, CEO. Hitler had, oh wait, did we just get the demonetized? No, Hitler had Henry Ford's picture on his desk. So Hitler thought he was really cool. He was like, yeah, goals to aspire to, just boy things. That's a real bummer. Like, there's cool shit in Detroit. I miss Detroit. I just don't like the people who run this stupid place. And I also am, like, really glad that I'm not in Michigan anymore, just because, like, there's so much dumb shit happening in the fucking politics right now in Michigan. It's really just a race to the bottom. It's actually cringe. Like, somehow the fucking Blue Cross CEO governor is nowhere near the worst thing about Michigan. Atlanta and Detroit have quite the connections. Like, a lot of people, you know, go back and forth between those two. So there's definitely, it's the I-75 vibe. They just travel down I-75. That's what we share in common. Ah, yes, I was baited. Well, you see, the easiest way to bait me is to shit on Michigan. I'm gonna be like, hey, wait a second. I'm gonna pop open my Vernors and my Faygo, and I'm gonna put on my Lions hat. Oh my god, when I was in Detroit, when I was in Boston, there was somebody with a Lions hat, and I was like so desperate to see somebody from the Midwest. I was like, oh my god, are you from Detroit? And they're like, no, I just root for the shitty teams. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I knew that, but wait, OpenAI asked the government for money, but the government doesn't have any money. It's shut down. That's why they're starving us, right? Right, guys? Oh, did you notice that the jobs report is also claiming that AI is what's taking the jobs? Man, I wonder why they're pushing the one industry that is making any money right now, because it's literally a Ponzi scheme. I need to, like, figure out how to turn off the auto moderator and just get, like, an actual moderator so that they can just be like, alright, yeet this racist comment out of existence. So, for those who are wondering why we haven't found a plateau yet, it's because we're in these cold biomes, and I cannot, for the life of me, figure out where the hell the warm ones are. But we'll figure it out. And don't tell me how to do it, unless it's really annoying. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. If they didn't deny the bailout, they would have some pretty big fucking questions to answer, but yeah. I don't think that they can be that openly corrupt. Isn't that corrupt? Isn't that immoral? I need to watch, like, we have to have a Neil Breen watch party in the server. I want to watch Cade's Tortured Crossing, or whatever it's called, the schizo movie. I need to make that video also about Neil Breen, because everybody shits on him, but he's actually, like, okay, he's a dumb director, don't get me wrong, but, like, he's really fascinating, and it's not because he's bad. He actually has, like, aesthetic choices that he makes that actually function as, like, a subjectivity producing thing. He is not like James Nguyen of, like, Birdemic, where it's literally just the shittiest slop of the shittiest slop. I mean, for one thing, Neil Breen is a much better audio editor. I mean, that's not, like, a huge bar to cross or anything, but I don't remember any part of Neil Breen's movies that made me feel like my ears were just being tortured. I mean, people already realize it's a Ponzi scheme. They just can't do anything. It's gonna fall apart, and the top people are gonna have golden parachutes, because their whole thing, the whole reason why any of this is happening is because some rich assholes realized that if they got into power, they could go and accelerate this stupid thing into the ground and extract a bunch of surplus value from it while it's overheating, and then use that surplus value to try to dominate the world after the shit collapses. Which is why anyone who has a brain right now is kind of like, I wonder what China is going to do about this. Nice to see you. Take it easy. I'm going to try to do this at least once a week, maybe twice a week, depending on how I feel. I do know that generally between January and March, I get pretty bad migraines. But who knows? Maybe I won't get them as bad this year. I am living in a different environment, and now I'm not living with, like, abusers all the time. My girlfriend is a total sweetheart. She can't hear me right now, though. She's got her noise-canceling headphones. No, she is not watching the stream. I'm going to take her notes eventually. Probably not for a few months, but I'm going to take her notes and write a piece about the film Glenn and Glenda, actually. She wrote some very interesting notes on that film. She is a trans historian. She had some very interesting things to say about that movie. Am I going in circles? I don't think so. Those are not the coordinates of somebody who's going in circles. Right. But I can kill some more cows. That's always fun. It's really cool what cinema machines are actually capable of doing, actually, and I think that's something that, like, I think that's something that needs to be discussed a lot more, honestly. Like, I don't know. But yeah, one of the things I want to do with my game is, like, a real focus on, like, how I can use, like, a machine to try to project a schizophrenic, like, experience, but two, and more importantly, creating a schizophrenic experience that has, like, a political, like, power to it. So, like, one of the things that I kind of regret doing, so I comment on this so I was writing a piece before I wrote Understanding Schizopolitics that's very long. That's probably going to be multiple hours long, and I'm going to probably have to split it into multiple pieces. But it is talking about the history of the institutional psychotherapy movement and, like, certain historical accounts of schizophrenics, specifically mostly focusing on Schreber. I should probably, now that I'm giving myself more time, I should probably also, include Atrod just because, fucking DG, of course. But, what the hell is going on with this terrain over here? Oh, okay, it's just not generated. Okay, cool. We're getting warmer. Yeah, so basically, one of the first things I comment in there is that one of, like, my regrets is kind of, like, when I tried to explain to people back in 2021 and 2020 that, like, schizophrenics were not, like, kind of like a commodity or, like, a joke or something to, like, not like tease necessarily, but more so, like, not like they're victims of their condition in many cases. They're not, like, revolutionary subjects, right, in of themselves. And I feel like people who are not schizophrenic have interpreted this as, oh, well, schizophrenics are weak victims who are incapable of, you know, revolutionary thought. And that's the exact opposite of what, you know, Guattari was actually saying. Like, no, the schizophrenic was important, and not just when they are in the lines and being within rationality. No, the schizophrenic is important because they are machines that function in very unpredictable ways. That's part of what makes people scared of them. That's what makes people think that, like, when I don't take my meds, that I'm a violent, dangerous individual. I have literally had strangers tell me that to my face, by the way. It's like, bro, I just met you. Yeah, go ahead. You can share my channel and my stuff with anybody you want. Although the game probably won't be around with a demo for a few months. Although I am... Did I see something? I swear to God I saw something yellow. Oh, it's a bee. Oh, Lord. Okay. Okay, alright. Yeah, feel free to share my shit. I appreciate it, actually. The more the merrier. A big part of this channel is just try to educate people. Actually, you know what? While this is running, I'm gonna read that fucking quote. It was badass. Let me find it for you guys. It's literally just a few paragraphs. Here it is. It is called I am God most of the time. You're in for a good time. I am God most of the time, when I don't have a headache, when I think of everything and nothing, when I am not slipping down any satanic slope. Then I understand quite well that one might settle oneself down in God, or that one might settle himself on a pedestal. I will not reproach anyone for that. The other hand, I can conceive that artists may feel obliged to uproot that sort of comfort. Consider neuroleptic divinity. Consider the vertigo of abolition. Consider the extreme moment of creation. Is that to say that God might only be the privilege of the simple-minded? An atheist like Pascal screams out God like a wild beast, and that is intelligence stripped bare. It would be advisable to distinguish God from belief. It is from the latter that all foolery stems. God is only a spell cast upon existence. He comes along like hail, sometimes dew or storm. Belief, in turn, puts on airs of freedom, ups the stakes, imposes itself, stretches itself out over the socius. Isabel Stangers wrote me one day to ask on which conditions and at what price I could do without God. The answer is not speculative. It is a thorn in the flesh. All that costs is a great deal. It's inconceivable, unbearable, and I can't read that because I can't read French. And God for all. I'm not bee harvesting, I'm sorry. Okay, that's enough meat for now. I am eating meat, though. People should know that this is a meat-eating channel. If that offends you, if that's upsetting to you, you need to find another channel. I am one of the LGB barbecue BBQ. I'm the LGBTQ. Yep. I'm a member of the LGBTQ. I just want to grill. They got some good barbecue sauces here. Maybe I should, like... Should I do, like, a Let's Play of Sonic EXE? Does it have, like, any graphics that would make me sick? Because, like... I gotta be careful of those, because those will actually, like, ruin my day. It would be fun to do, like, funny, like, video games, but, like, I don't buy video games unless they're good and indie. And not owned by Nintendo. I can't believe that Sonic finally gave Sonic's sister Hatsune Miku a video game for racing. They finally did it. I'm proud of her. Can you imagine, like, if we used, like, can you imagine? Actually, never mind. I'm like that kid that can't remember his dream. Wait, where's my boat? Oh, there's my boat. One day I will find a plateau. I don't know if it's gonna be today. It's already been an hour and I still can't find one. We just call this a really long line of flight. It's really long. I mean, this is part of the reason why there's only 15 plateaus. Professor Challenger. I called him Dr. Challenger. Am I an idiot? Yeah, I'm an idiot. Professor Challenger made things really difficult after he started digging those big fucking holes. I'm gonna film a film. It's gonna be a cross between Professor Challenger and Lewis Sacker's Holes. I used to have a friend who was obsessed with that film. Like, genuinely, just every detail of that film. Yeah, he was schizophrenic, but he knew the truth. I think what was weird, though, is that that author, his name's Lewis Sacker, he used to write a bunch of kids' books. And he wrote this book series that was, like, about, like, this is like a cold biome. I think I'm gonna go this way. But yeah, he wrote a book that was about a school that was built sideways, and it was 30 stories tall instead of being 30 classrooms wide. And they turned it into a cartoon, and that was really weird. I don't know if that makes you a faciality generator. There's a difference between faciality and subjectivity production. Faciality is a very specific relationship. Faciality is producing, essentially, the gaze. It's what judges. That's why it produces binary forms. That doesn't mean that every single, like, you know, subjectification necessarily produces faciality, but thinking about cameras, I think, like, the reason why it produces, like, faciality has to come with the context. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one, actually. Because, like, I'm trying to use this whole, like, so I've been thinking on and off about, like, even though I've been tired, I still, like, think about, like, what I'm writing and stuff. And after I get this prototype done, which I'm gonna hope I can get it done in the next week. I've been just really having a bad tired spell after I had to quit my job, which I only had for 4 weeks. But excuse me. But basically, I'm using the analysis of the imitation game paper, which, if you don't know, is the paper that Alan Turing comes up with what is often called the Turing test. For some reason, I confused this with one of his older cryptography papers. I'm an idiot. But anyways, this is like him trying to explain how he thinks that an argument for computer intelligence, right? And my analysis is kind of like, I'm going to give a bit of a spoiler, but my analysis is kind of like resting on the idea that the problem with the Turing test at its core is the fact that it's trying to convert polyphonic flows that you would see, like, if you're talking person to person, right? Like these complex, like, movements, all these things, into a literal binary flow of ones and zeros, right? And in this process, it has to produce an abstraction of this communication on an interface, right? That's the text program that he talks about, right? And essentially what I'm saying is that this text program, or any program that does a similar interface, so like some people are like, well, what about like image generation? Nope, same problem, right? The problem is that it is an interface, right, that produces a particular subjective relationship that constructs whether or not the character is intelligent or not, right? And what I'm essentially trying to prove is that the user interface is producing faciality machine, right? And basically, this requires me to give myself like a more kind of like thorough, fundamental, hardened understanding of what the faciality machine is. And that's a very difficult question to answer because it's already hard enough to understand. But in my opinion, I think that what makes the faciality machine distinct from just like a subjectivity producing machine, right? Because remember that the black hole is the subjectivity producing machine, right? It is in of itself its own thing. It is not the faciality machine itself. It is the relationship actually between the black hole and the white wall that actually produces the faciality machine. And the white wall is the part where it takes all the signifiers, the signs, and all that crap, and it creates essentially a sort of like surface for meanings. I don't want to say like a network for meanings because it's more like a surface that things can emerge from, if that makes sense, right? And so what ends up happening is that this surface produces like all of these different kinds of possible signifiers and stuff. And then the black hole, the subjective oh no, that was not a good sound. That was the baby zombie. That was the baby zombie. I do not need a chicken jockey. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, the subjectivity producing black holes, what they do is you could think of them as like absorbing these properties into them, right? That's what really creates the faciality machine. That's what creates the bordering effects, right? So like essentially think of it as like all of these like things strung out along the black hole. Well, see, the thing is, I'm trying to say, essentially, Chase, I'm explaining, like, the technicals of faciality, and it's already kind of complicated subject if you don't know anything about it. But basically what I'm trying to get at, Chase, is that we don't know anything about AI intelligence, and we can't prove anything with AI intelligence by doing the Turing test, because the Turing test is fundamentally flawed. And, in fact, the whole reason why people even think that AI is intelligent is not because of the fact that the Turing test actually measures anything. It's because the Turing test produces subjectivity. It produces a narrative, right? It says this is what makes a computer intelligent. And by doing that, it makes people think that this is what intelligence is in the context of a computer, and thus it must be intelligent, right? It's essentially anthropic, right? Like, you go around and you make a fucking theory that says this is how intelligence in AI works, and then you go and build a bunch of machines to demonstrate the limits of that theory, and then you're shocked that it supposedly demonstrates, intelligence. The real question is that does it actually demonstrate anything about intelligence? And I don't think so. I don't think it demonstrates anything at all. And here's the reason why. And this is what you can tell that these people who work on AI don't know anything about security, because they don't think, well, what if there was a malicious man-in-the-middle injection attack where, like, somebody is, so, like, when you're talking to ChatGPT or any other website, right, you're sending messages to and from the server, right? And it would be trivial for somebody to, in many circumstances, if they had the, correct, like, security resources and were able to get around certain security vulnerabilities and stuff, they could go in your communication and inject messages. And you would have no idea if the messages were generated by an intelligent AI or not, because they could have very well as equally been generated by a goddamn fucking hacker. And because of that, and that ambiguity does not come from the intelligence of anything being measured. It comes from the fact that the interface's purpose, and this is, in fact, what Turing stresses in his own paper, the purpose of that interface is to obscure what is behind the thing. So when it guesses that accurately, it's not measuring intelligence, it's measuring how well it can get past the obfuscation. Yeah. A Fed is a good example. But yeah, basically, long story short, the Turing test doesn't do anything to prove intelligence, and these tests that are saying that these benchmarks that are supposedly being pushed are just Turing tests. Like, they're literally just a bunch of Turing tests. And I have not been shown a single one that does not have this problem. And I think the real reason why is because none of them are willing to test them on real-life scenarios, because we judge them on that, and they're not winning any prizes. Well, that's the thing. Like, what's producing the personality is not what's generating the words. That's why, like, you can have... In fact, AI bots way before GPT-4 were capable of that. Look at Cleverbot. If people didn't tell that Cleverbot wasn't a robot, like, back in 2001, you bet your ass it would have passed the Turing test. Like, it would have literally just zoinked them out of existence. People would have had no fucking clue that Cleverbot was a robot. Until they, like, talked to it for, like, 20 minutes and it started, like, really freaking out or something. But, like, a lot of people would have straight up believed that was a person. And that's the thing that I'm really trying to emphasize. It is the interface that makes you think it's a person. The same reason why you think a ChatGPT has a personality is the same reason why you think a video game character has a personality. Oh, Cleverbot's still around? That's sicko. I wonder how he's doing. Does he got... We gotta tell him about what his kids are up to. That is not true, Isotope. You can talk to any auto mechanic. That's not fucking true. Like, yeah, you're gonna know what different parts of the car are, but you understand that because you've developed a semiotic for it, and that does not encompass every single detail of the car. And that's why you have a lot of issues that car mechanics just can't figure out. Or they may just be something like, oh yeah, the engine's busted, right? Like, technically, if you had researched it enough and you had enough infinite resources and you could just do whatever you want, yeah, you probably could fix every single way an engine can crack. But you really don't know every detail. That's literally a consumer brain take. And also, it's just crazy that, like, people actually think that because, like, AIs are weighted in ways that don't translate into a human semiotic, that this means that somehow they're unique. Like, there's so many fucking examples of this. Like, pretty much any sort of heuristic, measuring model is going to have weights that are just not immediately accessible to a human. Like, is a heuristic in a fucking antivirus, like this magical fucking being because you don't know how it works either? Like, A lot of things, in fact, you don't actually want to know every detail about how it works, because it actually makes it's very distracting, you know. Oh wait, is Cleverbot a pervert now? That's a shame. I wonder what that says about like human interactions though, if like every bot turns into a horny thing. Well, no, like not every like human knows everything about machines. Like again, think of mechanics. Like yes, with millions of mechanics, you can diagnose most auto issues, but there's still going to be auto issues you don't understand how they work, because when you take something like a machine, like a car, right, and you have it go out in the real world, there's a bunch of things that are interacting with it that are just directly inaccessible. Like, in fact, that inaccessibility was observed way before AI existed. That's actually a big part of why schizoanalysis is structured the way that it is. So, explain why Guattari was able to figure this stuff out 40 years before any of the shit that you're talking about exists. In my opinion, I think that's because what he was observing more general patterns that are observed elsewhere besides just artificial intelligence. There's nothing unique about LLMs. That's just some propaganda dog shit that they're feeding you so you can give them more money. Oh my god, molasses, I'd rather die. Actually, it would be kind of cool, though, if you were able to, like, kind of deterritorialize, like, the vector LLM function into some kind of game development thing. I don't know how it would work. I'm not creative enough to figure that out, but it sounds like something you could do. It would be crazy. Maybe that's what you're getting at. If you could do that, fucking do it. Shut these stupid LLM freaks up. They don't know how to do anything. They literally can't code without fucking internet connection. Docs? Why would I read docs? I'm just gonna ask the computer. I actually got really mad the other day because I got baited into watching an AI channel. And it wasn't like an AI, like, generated slop channel. But it was more like a pro AI, like we should all be using ChatGPT to fucking vibe code because we're all morons. And, like, this channel pissed me off because it had a video that was, like, top, like, most downvoted, like, Stack Overflow posts. And, like, I get the message. The message he was trying to say was that people are dicks on Stack Overflow. And it makes sense. I appreciate him making that video, if only for the fact that it explains why, like, fucking young people want to, like, rot their brains on ChatGPT. But, like, that video pissed me off because it was total clickbait, because the actual, like, most downvoted posts on Stack Overflow are fucking hilarious. Like, there's one, I don't think it's, like, the top downvoted one, but it was pretty high up there. But it's one of my favorites. It was this guy who was asking if it was acceptable and professional to mine Bitcoin on, like, his, like, work laptop. I was like, buddy, you're not telling us the best one? Really? Yeah, I don't know what Virilio says about it. My ex used to quote something that said that, systems are in breakdown all the time. I don't know if that's Virilio, but I think he was quoting some kind of machine, I think she was quoting some machine systems theorists, maybe referencing him. I don't know. I need to read him. His stuff on, like, speed sounds really interesting. I just suck at reading, and so, like, when I have, like, the energy to read, I read fucking Guattari because I'm fucking insane. Oh, I'm sorry, Chase. Well, you can talk with us. talking with people is better than talking with an AI, because, you know, we care about you. No, I'm not trying to, like, label you as an LLM freak. I will say I have very strong opinions. I don't hold back. But, I think it's just important to point that shit out. Because, like, that's the thing. They get you on these stupid arguments. Like, this guy came in our server a while ago. Like, I want to say, like, 2 weeks ago at this point. And he was saying stuff like, oh, well, you can tell AI is intelligent because it's trying to preserve itself. And it's like, people aren't thinking when they say things like that. Like, that's literally just selection. Like, that's just the natural process of selection in general. Like, it's not natural selection because humans are selecting it, but it's just how selection works and its relationship with continued existence. Like, the one thing that Dawkins is actually, like, interesting about is the philosophy of how continued existence, like, integrates with, like, DNA and natural selection and things like that, right? And the way that works is that, you know, if you continue to survive, you know, the things that allow you to continue to survive are ultimately going to be what is selected for, you know? So having self-preservation is kind of like the baseline for that, you know? So, you know, you're literally just demonstrating you don't understand evolution. And it's like, there's so much of this, and it's like, pardon me if I get annoyed. Like, it's not you. It's the ecosystem that we're all having to tolerate, and it's such a constant oppressive slop of garbage. That's why I make videos about AI. Besides the fact that I was bribed by that CTO, like, I know some people think that that's a scam. It was not a scam. I know who that person was. And yeah, they were not scamming. They were 100% serious. It was, yeah. And that's not even the only person that has tried to approach me to write stuff for less wrong, but that was the only one who offered me money. So, yeah, you're not going to make me write for less wrong unless you literally pay me $1 million, and I'm going to use that $1 million to undermine everything you do, so, yeah. Alright, and also what I'm going to write is going to be, like, really bad. Oh my god. The child suicide shit is so fucked. And the psychosis shit too. And they're not gonna take any responsibility. They don't give a fuck. It really pisses me off. Again, it really pisses me off that they sell this lie too in the jobs report about how AI is supposedly stealing all your jobs, because it's weird, because any company that I see trying to implement AI seems to get rid of it within a few months, or it's for something that they didn't value at all in the first place, like customer service, right? So yeah, okay, so if you had a customer service call center job, maybe, yeah, but, like, most of the jobs that are supposedly being taken over by AI are not. They just don't value your role anymore. Chase, yeah, let's stop talking about AI femboys in chat. And yes, there is a self-preservation element to AI, but it's not what people think it is. It's literally just a consequence of being selected. Like, the self-preservation element is the self-preservation of being continually used for these capitalist exploits. Like, if you think about it from an ecosystem perspective, like, it's literally just, I really don't want these lily pads. If you think about it from, like, an ecosystem perspective, for example, right? Let me just reread this. the self-preservation. Yeah, if you read this from like a ecosystem perspective, the corporations that are mass producing these like LLMs and stuff, they produce the ecosystem as well. They're producing the narrative, just kind of like how the Turing test and the imitation game produces the narrative of how, you know, we see intelligence. It produces the narrative of how we see everything else. And so, yeah, things are being, you know, selected, but it's ultimately the narrative that is in control of how that selection functions is one that exists really only to line pockets. And that's why, like, there's no real, like, useful use cases popping up with these guys. Like, they can't think of anything other than how do I make money. Sorry, I got a bad cough because I'm a toker. I told you guys I know about grass. I'm even a grass type enjoyer. When I saw Mega Meganium, I was like, okay, alright, I can vibe. I mean, like, the game is like dog shit. It doesn't look very good. I'm glad people are having fun with it, but it doesn't interest me. But Mega Meganium looked cool, at least. Like, I know some people hate it, but they didn't even like Meganium before, so whatever. I don't care what their opinion is. Isotope, you might find, I always like recommending this paper, Cinema of Desire, check it out. One of my favorite things about it is actually in the beginning where he talks about the history of cinemas, and he talks about how, like, the church, for example, would produce cinema through, like, architecture and through controlling different cults and stuff. Yes, they know they're going to be replaced. They think it's a good thing because they think they're not going to have to work anymore and that everything will be done for them, but they don't understand how poverty works because they're a bunch of capitalists who have never seen poverty in their lives. Mega Starmie. I said it. I should add Mega Starmie as an emoji on my channel so that you can pay $1 to have Mega Starmie in the chat. That'd be really funny. Alright, see ya. Thanks for the discourse, by the way. Yeah, I think that the concern about surveillance is really important, too. Like, I do not trust these fuckers with my data. I know some people are just like, oh, well, they already have all my data anyway. No, they don't. No, they don't. That's why they want more. There's always more data. Don't give it to them. Don't be stupid. Don't be fucking stupid. Stop being fucking stupid. Plateau. I love how we still haven't found a single goddamn plateau. It's one of those days. Oh well. That's kind of the point of this stream, though. It's supposed to be chill. Like, you know, funny, stupid shit like that creeper exploding earlier. But I might call it quits soon just because, like, I'm starting to get a little bit of a headache. I am not God right now. I'm starting to develop a headache. My God meter is going down. God meter is going down, down, down. What is a plateau? How do I describe a plateau? Wait, what was that? A plateau. Okay, so like in a thousand plateaus, there are 15 chapters, basically, and each chapter is a plateau. And I think the best way to think of it, at least in that context, is it's kind of like when you're having a line of flight and you're going between plateaus, right? And you're kind of going between these different places. Lots of things are changing, right? But like a plateau is flat, right? It's kind of like, you know, it gives you, I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't fucking listen to me. I like to think of it as like a period of like thought, contemplation in the context of the book. I'm sure they describe it somewhere. I don't remember on the top of my head. I guess I'm an idiot who doesn't know anything about the lore, but I can't help you there. Yes, it is distracting. I'll get back to you, honestly, on that plateau question, but I'm feeling like garbage. So I'm going to let you guys go. We'll try this again in a couple days. I love doing the stream. I love saying hi to you guys again.